So since I have a podcast for Flash now, I was thinking I should do something for Arrow and Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow. So I was thinking maybe do a top 5 video and all those. I don't know if I'm going to continue doing it. I don't know how many of the videos I'll do for them. That kind of depends on if you guys like it and if I enjoy doing it. But I'm at least going to do them for the first premiere. So I'll do Arrow today, and then Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow will be next week, and then from there we'll move on. All right, so number 5 is that we got introduced to Wild Dog. Now, I know in the comics he inherited money, and he uses that money to become a vigilante and take down the mob. I don't know if that's the storyline they're going to go with him in this season. I know when he just got reintroduced into Rebirth, and he uses a bunch of guns to take down the criminals that he goes after. So I don't know exactly how they're going to go with him this season so far. But so far, from what I've heard and what I've read of him, he seems like a pretty cool character. And now moving on from him, this is number 4, is that Mr. Terrific is now going to be a part of Team Arrow. Because in this episode tonight, he went to look for Wild Dog because Felicity sent him after him. He got his ass kicked by a bunch of, like, muggers or some kind of people in the street. He got his ass kicked. So when he told Oliver that, he's like, I'll give you all the information where you can find Wild Dog if you recruit me to. So number 4 moment is that we're going to have Mr. Terrific on Team Arrow number 2, which will be pretty sweet. He got introduced to the show last season. I really enjoyed his character. I'm excited to see how far they bring him, and I'm excited to see him with the face paint of T on his face. That'll be pretty neat to see. My number 3 moment is we figured out what the Black Canary told Oliver when she died last season. She told him, don't let me be the last canary. I've seen some people online be like, don't let this be the end of Team Arrow, is like what she meant. I took it as recruit more people to your team, because that was kind of the theme of this episode. But that's pretty neat that we got to see that. I don't think it was so secretive that we had to like hide it for this long. I think could have put this in the episode and then maybe done a flashback to it quick when he was thinking about it. But, I mean, at least we still got to see it. And my number 2 moment is that we got introduced to Prometheus this episode. At the end of it, he's taken down that officer at the end. Like, they try to trick you into thinking it's Green Arrow, but you know it's going to be the bad guy. I've seen a lot of theories online that he's like, oh, is it because of Flashpoint? Or is he going to be Tommy? Or is he Oliver's son from the future? I've seen all these theories. I personally think that he's going to be connected to Oliver's book because there's usually parallels in the flashbacks and in the present day. In that episode, they brought his book back into it in the title of season 1. And I also said a lot behind the scenes that the bad guy in this season and a lot of the main things that happen this season is going to be because of stuff that Oliver did in season 1. So I personally think that, like, if you pay attention to the list, like, people's names they say on it, maybe one will, like, pop out, and it was someone from season 1, and, like, maybe it's their son, or maybe it's them back from season 1, we don't know. But I think it's going to involve the list somehow. I don't think it's going to be, like, Tommy or anything like with Flashpoint or anything like that. And my number 1 moment, the moment that I thought was the coolest this episode, was when Arrow is fighting Tobias Church, and they're running through the warehouse, and then Tobias Church escapes. Arrow jumps through the window, shoots out a bow, connects it to his helicopter. Then he climbs into the helicopter. They're fighting there again. And then he gets kicked out of the helicopter, shoots up an arrow, and he's got an arrow parachute and parachutes down in the city. I thought that moment was really cool. I think this episode was great. It was a great way to kick off the season. And yeah, if you enjoyed my top 5 video, make sure to leave a comment down below if you liked it. Maybe tell me things you want me to talk about more like this, or tell me ways to improve the show. I don't know. And I want to talk about this really quick. Right after Arrow, the show Frequency premiered. I really, really enjoyed it. I think you guys should watch it. The premise is that this girl's dad, back in time, her dad was a police officer, and he was undercover, and he ended up getting killed. And, like, everybody, like, as she was growing up, thought her dad was a crooked cop. I thought he was a bad cop. But then, through this ham radio, she ends up talking to him, and she ends up figuring out what really happened that night, and she ends up telling him, so he changed his history, and then she has both memories of stuff that happened, but then because she changed time, it changed everything else in her life, and no one else knows this, and it's just a really cool idea. It's almost kind of like a Flashpoint-y, like with Flash, but there's no superpowers in it. Also, the star of it is Golden Glider from Flash, so that's pretty neat. But yeah, I just want to throw that in there that I really enjoyed that show. I think you guys should check that out. Remember, if you like this video, leave a comment down below. Make sure to like it and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Really? I can't eat vomit? Alright, so how do we choose the first color? What do we do?
Well, let's just go in order. So first we'll do the white one.
Okay, what are the choices?
Spoiled milk or coconut.
Do we have, like, I'm gonna vomit. Okay, so.
It was interesting, seeing, like, Kid Flash was kind of cool.
Yeah, although my one thing is, like, I don't get what they were all calling him Kid Flash because there wasn't a Flash before there.
Yeah, I know.
So
They
didn't have, like, the thing.
Yeah.
It was just, like, for people, though, like, for us to see
Yeah, I
it.
get it. Like, yeah, and then he didn't like it. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
He wasn't a very good Flash. He couldn't catch anybody, and he got almost killed at the
Although
end.
what's weird is his character was a lot more likable this one episode than it was a lot of last season.